My tale begins just before the rising of the sun. Day clean we call this. When the day is new and the world is made fresh again. I am a storyteller, and our tale is so private that our story has never been told before. We are one, bound by the spirit of an island, bound by high tide, fields, gossips, smoked mullet, and our faith. I am Sapelo, and all the hundreds of others who are descendants, we who remain here is Sapelo. It was winter 2017 when Elder Cornelia Walker Bailey's autographed memoir crossed paths with mine. A ninth-generation descendant of Bilali Muhammad and one of the last generations of Geechees from Sapelo Island, a barrier island off the Atlantic Ocean, 40 miles south of Savannah, Georgia. Sapelo is one of those places where there is no written language, and where oral traditions reign supreme. A place where the people still live by the ebb and flow of the tide, and are led by the voices and the spirits of their ancestors. Ancestors from different regions of West and Central Africa, such as Sierra Leone. The Geechee, sometimes referred to as Gullah or Gullah Geechee, depending on who you ask, made a way for themselves on this island, during and after slavery. They cultivated Sea Island cotton, rice, sugarcane, and the Sea Island red pea. Blacks on the island began buying land as early as 1871, creating their own self-sufficient communities. Bell Marsh, Raccoon Bluff, Lumber Landing, Shell Hammock, and Hog Hammock were the original black communities on the island. Currently, only one remains, the historic Hog Hammock community, in which Cornelia spent a good bit of her youth after her family was forcefully moved off of one of the nearby communities. In her memoir, God, Dr. Buzzard, and the Bolito Man, she spoke of the many experiences and traditions that, like a sponge, she soaked up early in her childhood. Memories of root magic, conjure, dream divination, and walking with the spirits, low country life, throwing nets to catch seafood, and midnight fishing, fried mullet, whitened fish, and smoked oysters. She recalled listening to the trees and honoring the indigenous plant medicine of the island, sweet gum bush, beautyberry, and life everlasting, to name a few. Stories of her spiritual gifts, black spirituality, how the sun and God resides in the east, and how the root brought her back from her first taste of death. Ring shouts, the buzzard lope, quilting, baptisms, and going into the woods at night to seek self were part of her many experiences. Over the years also came theft of the land and the diminishing of the communities on the island. The consolidation of these Geechee communities and Geechee-owned land eventually forced the remaining descendants to all move onto Hog Hammock. They were persuaded and coerced into swapping and selling land that has been in their family since after the Civil War. Similar to the surrounding sea islands like St. Helena and Hilton Head in South Carolina. Lack of economic opportunity and local tax issues depleted the number of residents to less than 10% of what it had been during Cornelia's childhood. With this change, there also came a diminishing of jobs, causing many to move to the mainland for better work and pay. The big change also caused the dwindling of the children on the island, which caused the only school on the island to eventually close. Once over 400 people on the island, there is now a population of less than 50. Up until her transition in 2017, Cornelia fought to keep the community, culture, and traditions alive on the island. There are a few that still continue her work in preserving the island and the ways of its people. Out of all of her work, her stories have made an everlasting impression on me. In her words, all stories are true. A quote of hers that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. It is my only hope that her words we continue to keep, and her stories we continue to tell, and that those stories continue to keep us oh so very close to those who came before us.
Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, oh Lord, Kumbaya.
Oh my Lordy, Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord.